Oh my gosh.
Stop filled.
My ear starts bothering me. It's going to really be a bad day. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. It is Thursday, right? Hell yeah. All right. Welcome, everybody. In a couple pre-market trades there. Did get knocked out. We're up about $384 for the day. Falling out of control. What's up, buddy? You just sit there and guard the house. All right? You can do it. You got the strength. All right, let's move some of these up. It's obvious where the market wants to go. Pretty obvious where the NQ, I should say, wants to go. Pretty obvious, of course. Fucking A, dude. Okay. CL is at a interesting area. I think where we want to sell CL is right here.
Stop filled.
Got knocked out of our NQ trade. Let's do our sixes. Hey, where you going, buddy? We do have an RDA test there, so I guess we could trade that
Order
early
filled.
on CL. So we'll start there, and then we'll scale in right up here, as you can see. See if that trade is a little too early for us. We are pre-market. I usually don't trade right at market open, but it's what the opportunity gave us, so that's what we did. Probably should share the stream actually, so everybody can watch, or not everybody can watch, but what I mean by that is the group knows that we're here. There we go. And on Telegram. And on the Twitter. Yeah, we entered that CL trade a little bit too early. What was that noise? All right, well, welcome everybody. Good morning, Self-Adapt. Good morning, Reese. Good morning, all. We'll see how we're going to do here. We're going to wait and see. We'll do some, I've already done pre-market. You should have already done your pre-market as well. Let's look at the NDX. Let's see where we're at on this whole thing, this whole situation. We look at the daily. We go across the daily, of course. As usual, TradingView does not make my charts look pretty. I guess I'm pretty enough for TradingView. All right. Same TA has been for the week. Nothing's changed. Hi, welcome. Good morning, all on TradingView. Where are we streaming at? We're streaming on TradingView. Good morning, TradingView. Good morning on YouTube. Good morning on Twitter. Good morning on Facebook. Twitch. I don't think we're getting many views on Twitch. I don't know if I properly did anything on Twitch or properly set it up on Twitch. We are in the red or the green now on that CL trade. That is a fade trade, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to give it a little bit of room, then we're probably going to put in some trailing stops up in there. Here we go. Got a little bit of room on that CL trade. Let me show the trade. Apologize. CL trade's over here. Got a little bit of room. I think we're probably going to get knocked out at break even relatively quickly here. Once again, I usually don't trade right at market open, but why did I trade that right at market open? Because it was at a high probability reaction area. The trade system that we trade is all about high probability reactions. CL on chart 4 was hitting the RDA, and as you can see, I don't know if you can't see because you don't see chart 4. I apologize, but
stop filled.
Members, chart 4, look at CL. That's why I traded it. We've got our levels defined. In a little bit, we'll go across the 4 chart layout, or we'll go across our layouts here, and we'll look at all 4 symbols that we trade, that I'm trading today, and we'll identify some key areas that we should be watching as we go forward. Still in 1 or 2 lots on CL. Let's see if actually I've got trailing stops. Starting the day relatively slow. We're up about $500. So just started trading before I jumped on the stream.
Stop filled.
All right, totally out of the market right now. Now we're just waiting to see what will happen. Now typically, if make sure there's no news events. You should have already checked the news events. Let's see what's on deck so I can share. So GDP already happened, 8:30 Eastern. Jobless claims already happened. NatGas report at 10:30. So in about a half hour, not half hour, an hour, NatGas will be having a report. Sweet. What else? Fed balance sheet today at 3:30 or 4:30 Eastern. So not much surprises on deck. Pretty much there's no real, I don't know about real trades. I guess what I'd say is the trades that I do see are just predicting the next reaction zones. So gold is finding a hard time finding a bid. So I'm not sure with gold. We should look at gold at a higher time frame here once we get kind of feel for the market, what it wants to do. I mean, it's obvious momentum bias long. It's just a matter of, at this point in time, the best trade that's on the table actually is right here for the actual NQ on the long side. It's not being too aggressive. I mean, you might have to chase it today based on how it's unfolding. Ah, my ear, man. Apologize, but I still have side effects from my treatment and it's starting to upset me already. Gap up day. So is it going to be a gap and go? We got the weekly open. We are below the weekly open on the index. So looks like it's going for the weekly open. So I would say if you wanted to get aggressive on the trade, the aggressive trade is, well, it's going to be at the weekly open in another little bit. So really, we'll do a participation trade. We'll attempt to do a participation trade up to
order
the weekly
filled.
Open. So not get too aggressive. And then expect some kind of reaction there if it does happen. It's pretty volatile though. Relatively volatile, I should say, not pretty volatile. There we go. Participation trade, we're up about $100 on that. Up about $150 on that. Sorry, I'm not showing the chart. I apologize. I think all these other bids are irrelevant. Or not irrelevant, but invalid entries now. So we'll get rid of those. All right, knocked out for about $100 for that participation trade there. For those that are new, a participation trade is basically, look, you didn't get the best entry, so you want to participate in the market. We trade in thirds around here. That means we trade in lots of 3. We take profits at 2 take profit points, and then we let 1 run. That's kind of the best way to trade, in my opinion. As far as you take profits along the way, and then you allow for a runner. I don't believe in that phrase. No one ever got broke taking profits. no one ever got rich taking profits either. So, or not, no one ever got rich taking profits along the way. Meaning that I think the best way to trade, at least psychologically, what it does, when you trade in thirds and then you take profits, 2 profits along the way, you allow for a runner. Psychologically, it deals with your challenges of fear when you're actually, you have fear on both sides. You have fear, am I going to lose money? And then you also have fear of, am I going to take profits too early? So I know many traders in my group, that's one of the fear that they don't realize that they have is basically they take profits way too early because they fear of, number one, taking a loss. Number two, just they see that profit and it's burning a hole in their pants, so to say. So the way that I've developed in the trade system that I trade, the Rexdog trade system, is let's take profit in thirds. That way, psychologically, you deal with your fear on both sides. Trading is much about, entering and exiting as it is about dealing with your psychological issues. Hey, welcome, JDS. Good to see you here. Glad you could make it today. Hopefully it's not messing up your sleep schedule or anything. We're up roughly about $600. We are looking for the next trade. The next trade probably is an NQ short. Pretty obvious where that level is. Yeah, good morning as well. That CL trade continued to sell off. I guess I should have stuck with that a little bit longer. Kind of in an interesting range there. Oh, okay. That's not bad. 1540 is not bad. Yeah. There we go. We got some volatility. We'll see. So once again, fade trades are the hardest trades to execute. So the fade trades that we got up, there we go. NQ fighting hard to hold that anchored VWAP from the NQ top. Yeah. Let's look at Bitcoin. You're seeing an experimental chart that we're working on as far as doing a 4-chart setup for TradingView, because TradingView refuses to add tick charts, because TradingView does not want to add tick charts for some ungodly reason. One thing that everybody could do, get in touch with TradingView and ask them, when are they going to add tick charts? That would be awesome. So we're creating a 4-chart setup based on what's available at TradingView, because TradingView refuses to add tick charts. If they added tick charts, they would unhandedly be one of the best charting platforms on the planet. We'll look at the market internals. For those that are new, this is the market internals. On the left, you see the up vol. Why is it so huge? Up volume advancing minus the down vol declining. We watch this to kind of look at the market internals. We see that it's above the 0 line. You see they've already identified. Members, if you see me see this, there's training on this, members. So you don't have to use this. This just gives me, I think it gives us actually additional insight. One of the things that we can see here, Big Tech has recaptured all of the rolling 10-day VWAPs. So all these little dotted lines you see here are the 10-day rolling VWAPs on the Big Tech symbol. That is Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Tesla combined. Kind of gives you an early signal on where the Nasdaq is going to be heading. And then also here, this is just the Nasdaq 100, the actual NQ. So you can see it's a gap up day. One of the things that's probably happening is markets deciding whether or not it's going to be a gap and go day, or is it going to fill a gap and go. So that's one thing to watch out for. Right now, we don't have an answer one way or the other. Yeah. Almost should be short the NQ move. The problem is that it's not the best. It's not the best fade trade there. But that might be the trade on the table, unfortunately. We do have we have a level check here. Right at 995, sorry, 995. Starting the day relatively slow. Yesterday was a good day, not a bad day for just getting off. For those that don't know, I get treatment every 2 weeks, so not bad for just getting off chemo treatment. $10,000 day. Here's my P&L so far this year. For those that don't know, you can visit my website, explain the trade system. I have my P&L results here. If you click on this page, it says P&L results. Pretty obvious. So far, this is this P&L. You can pretty much watch all the streams of me making this P&L. So, or it's on Discord. So these are all this P&L you can watch in real time being developed or being. So yesterday, I had chemo treatment the last 2 days. So generally, I reduced my size. Yesterday, we ended the day with 10,270. So let's go and look at the chart because that's no reason for me to continue to flex my P&L at all. Rex is up and around, moving around. Any questions you have? Well, once the market, I don't see any high probability trades that I really want to move on right now. You can see the buy side's a little bit stronger. So you do see the buy side stepping up every pullback. So that's something to keep in mind. I think what we could do is we could try to get into a single entry here, but
Order
I don't
filled.
like it as much as we're not going to give it much room. It's either going to move right away or not. Yeah. Yeah.
Stop filled.
Yeah. It does seem like it wants to go down first. So should have been a short there instead of a long. Apologize. I don't mean to yell, but there's a side effect to this treatment that pisses me off. There's one of the few things that piss me off. It's the hiccups and this friggin' it plugs up my ear like when I'm swimming, and it's just super annoying because I can hear myself in my head like when you have water in your ear. So it just makes it very, very, very annoying. Very frustrating. Almost to the point it's just frustrating to actually talk and stream. So TA asks, hey XCAB, hope you're well. Thanks. Hypothetical scenario: MNQ breaks all Rex dog levels to downside. I want to get positioned on long side to essentially fade. What are your typical step size in dollar amount? Well, okay. No. So you're asking, do we use ATRs or levels? No. So we'll do gold. So let me get organized here a little bit so we can. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go across the 4 charts and we're going to set our levels, and then I'll answer TA's question about hypothetical scenario on MNQ breaks, and then we'll go and do gold analysis because I do think we need to do a higher time frame gold. But we're trading, so let's make sure we don't miss any high opportunity trades. So we're going to start at the MNQ. The MNQ right now, our levels are, let me see. Well, we got a new upside level. So give me a second. I got to draw them or set them. So obviously our upside level is right around 13,049. That's our upside level. So 13,049, which aligns with pretty close with the 5-minute level. Our downside level where I have the entry, this is the best entry on the downside, immediate entry. And then if we get picked up there, we'll decide to scale in or get out right away. Depends on what happens if we get picked up there. The next level that exists, we do have over here. That's the daily open of the NQ. Now we got to look at the actual NDX daily open. And then other than that, it's still going for the weekly open. So I think one of the things that the sales that you see here are at a key level. So the NQ set as far as where I'd want to buy, where I'd want to sell, actually not even me, what the system tells me we should do. Let's look at crude oil. So CL, the next chart here. CL is in the middle of a range, so you really have no edge here. So if we look at the chart, that was the sell that I did earlier. I'm just right in the market open. So we have a level on the upside that aligns with a strong indicator we use in the system, right around 74, spot 75 on CL. And then if CL does get down to this downside level right here, which is 74 spot 08, that's really kind of the downside level. So I'll put this both in the chat. CL up, down. So when I say these levels, these aren't targets right now. They're basically areas of high reaction probability. And then we predict where the market will react, and we trade around that. And by doing that, you have a system like that. You have a system where basically risk is built into the system from before you even enter the trade. If you have a system like what we trade, you have risk built into the system. I can't stress that enough. Most systems allow you to arbitrarily trade anywhere. The system that you're watching me trade has been developed not to arbitrarily trade anywhere. It's been developed basically to trade at the highest probability spots where the market has a reaction. I don't know what that chart is. Yeah, we might break through. I mean, you can just see the buy side is just ready to go. So I should have probably bought that. So what we'll do is we'll do a small, I don't want to chase this trade, but we almost have to.
Order filled.
If we want to be part of this trade. Now it could just sell off here, but the upside looks like it's a little bit stronger on the NQ. What time is it? All right, so we're about 10 minutes. So yeah, I guess I did chase that trade like an idiot. Yeah.
Order filled.
All right, one more entry down here. What I've got to guard against here is it going to continue to fake out to the upside because it wants to do a gap fill before it moves up? That's the one thing I would guard against. That's one thing I would guard against on chasing a trade like this. When the buyers seem to be stepping up, it could just take one impulse down to slap the buyers, and the buyers to say, nope, don't want to do that anymore. So that's one thing you got to watch when you're that close to a gap like we are right now. We're still close to the gap. So sellers are, I don't know if this is what happened. I'm just trying to explain it the way that we trade charts. So we don't do any fundamental stuff. I mean, we do some fundamental stuff at long term, but we trade charts. So the chart says right now the buyers are stepping up, but all it would take is one impulse down for the buyers to say, nope, don't want to do that. Let's go fill the gap together. But so far it seems that the buyers are continuing to step up. So now I'll put in some trailing stops in the market. Give it a little bit of room. We're up on that trade a little bit, 130, whatever. So let's see if it will go up. We do have a level up here at 049. Now if we go to the next ticker, which is gold, and we'll do a larger gold time frame analysis. I'm just going to do an immediate gold analysis just to kind of see if there's any opportunities for gold for us right now. Gold is actually probably better a sell opportunity here where it's sitting on chart 4. The daily's got the RDA check down at 9. Whoa, that is pretty crazy. So we got the daily RDA check right at 950. Wow. 1953, sorry, 1953. So if it breaks the lows, it's probably going to 1953 is the way I would read gold. So that would be a target. That'd be a great trade if you could get on that trade. So we're long, we're up on the NQ about $600 or so on this trade. Maybe we're going to break a G. As you can see here, that's this trade here. We've got the weekly open. We got some of our sell limits up here. I'm going to remove some of these because I don't know if I necessarily agree that that's the best entry up on the upside. Give one of these lots a little bit more room. We're only in 2 lots, so it might just stall at the weekly open and just take us out. Won't be maximizing our profit, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'd like to do a larger gold analysis. Let me just do NG, and then we'll...
Stop field.
Got stopped out, and then we'll answer the question on YouTube from TA. Well, I can answer your question right now, actually, TA, which I don't quite understand your... I mean, I do understand your question, but, you know, TA, are you a member? Are you an alpha? Because I don't know if you're an alpha, because I'd explain this two different ways for someone that's not. Someone that has access to our full system to someone that doesn't. Because if you have access to our full system, this wouldn't be a question that you would ask, I guess I would say. Because if it's breaking it depends on how you're trading it. But if it breaks every level to the downside, very seldom does it break 3 levels in a row with no reaction, for instance. I sometimes it will break one level with no reaction, but very seldom with the levels that as we define them in the system, there's a reaction. And usually there's a reaction at a ability to break even. We're going to get knocked out of this trade. Break even or make a little bit of profit. So we don't really use an ATR. We use the charts to tell us. And then even in the ATR, the way that,
stop field.
The way that we use ATRs is completely different than the way the ATRs are taught. Because you don't care about the current ATR. The current ATR is irrelevant to the trade. So if you're using ATRs, one thing I could share with you. All right, now we're out of the market completely. Damn it. We're up about $806. So for TradingView, by the way, I cannot share any non-TradingView charts. So I can only share TradingView charts. So there is no TradingView chart that shows my total P&L for the day with Trade08. So I can't share on non-TradingView streams. I can stream whatever the heck I want. But with TradingView, I have to stream just TradingView charts. Not complaining, I'm just saying that. So on the streams where, for instance, on YouTube, typically you see my P&L as it grows, as it declines, or whatever happens throughout the day. I wonder if the NQ is going to sell off now. That's the question. It didn't tag the... I guess you could do one more. I guess you could do one more buy right around there. There is a level that's developed there at 13.023. That's terrible. I can't even read that. Can I change the color of that buy? Why is it blue? Anyways, those are my two entries. We're still long. I'm not fading the market at all. Well, CL's back up to the zone. So it's either going to hit that, and then the next sell is right around 75, sorry. 75, a little bit above. I'd be 75 spot 03 is the next sell. And that would be a fade. Missed the long side on that. All right. So did I answer your question, TA? Yeah. So, I mean, your question, here's the thing. Your question doesn't, I can't, now that I can't answer your question. I've answered, the question's fully answered in a couple training places I would send you. So that's the problem with your question. So or not the problem, or just, that's why I could spend the next 20 minutes answering your question, except then I'd have to not trade. But I have two videos that clearly define or clearly answer your question in immense detail. I guess. So the general rule of thumb is very seldom does 3 levels, and if it just doesn't happen. I mean, it does happen. It happens on news events, or it happens in a fierce volatility move, but very seldom do 3 levels, 3 strong levels that's defined within the system we trade, have no reaction. And we don't even use the ATR for any of that because, like I said, the current ATR is meaningless. You need to go find, if you're going to use the ATR, you use the ATR and you find similar type of patterns around the same pattern that you're seeing develop. And then you use that ATR because that's more predictive than the current ATR, is the way I would describe it. Hopefully that helps. All right, I want to look at gold. But I want to see if we're going to get picked up on this NQ trade here. Probably could move that down a little bit more to the RDA. I'd like to be a little bit more aggressive on some of my trades here, but I don't see any opportunity to be aggressive yet. Okay, maybe I worded the question wrong. I guess better is a daily open and the previous day lows are also breakdown. They're at 12.88. Yeah, I mean we use those levels, but you know. So here's the thing. I assume, well, I don't assume. Everybody, a week one trader knows about the previous day low and the previous week low. For instance, it's just so, yeah, we include that in our system, but those are levels that the whole market can see. So of course we trade around those because that's an important level that the market will look at and make decisions on whether or not, you know, if the previous low holds, then there's a bunch of trade systems that will trade that. But let me make sure I'm reading your question. I'm also looking at linear regress price from the high last year to the price. Yeah, well, that's way too complex for me. That's big brain stuff. I don't have a big brain. So this linear regress price from the highs of last year to the price smack back to the mid 880s and lower first
Order
day.
filled.
Oh, we got picked up on our first CL entry there. We'll see if we're too aggressive there. Now that is chart 3. Chart 3 is the control. So on CL, the sell, it's a fade trade. Just caution members. It's a fade trade. And that is the slow momentum. So we got picked up on CL on a fade trade. There we are. Let's see. I'll give it a little bit of an opportunity to react. Ideally, we don't want to see it come up to our second entry up there. So we do have a second entry, but we'll take it if it does. And then we should have a third entry just above that, just to scale in properly. So here's our third entry up there. We'll see if that works out. It is an early fade. So once again, don't want to get too aggressive. So just so if you're new, first thing is best to do is join Discord down below. That's where the best stuff happens. Yeah, I guess I'm more aligned with the lower time frame. I'm trying to answer your question to you. I just don't quite understand. Okay, I do want to look at gold, but I also want to, okay, now the NQ just barely did not get picked up. I don't know if that's the proper way to say that. Just barely did not get picked up. We're down about $400 on this oil trade here. It is a fade. So the challenge with this fade trade is that if it really wants to move, it's got room up to the RDA, but I want to see at least one reaction at this slow momentum. Oh, yeah, I don't do fibs. So I don't, you know, I don't do Fibonacci. What I will say is that
Order filled.
we use a combination of time and tick charts, and I'll share this with tick charts. With tick charts, capital cannot hide. With time charts, capital can hide a little bit. So that's a little bit of an insight on why we use tick charts. Let me look at Yeezy's update here. Yeezy. Oh yeah, NQ. Yeah, Yeezy says a sell off and then a back up. Kind of see the same thing. We'll look at gold here in a second as soon as we can make sure. Okay, we just not aggressive enough on this NQ trade here.
Order filled.
So now we're long NQ, but I'm not going to get too long. Didn't sound right. Waited for a pullback on the momentum check now that it switched over on chart 2. So momentum switched over in chart 2. We'll see if the CL trade is going to get into profit or not. Does not look like it. Looks like it wants to impulse up again. So we'll see. Plan to scale in there anyways. That's kind of what we plan to do. What time is it? 9:05, so half hour has passed. So I also, this is the other thing that I don't talk much about this, but I consider the first half hour the initial balance. I know the initial balance is the first hour. I get it. But I like to call the initial balance the first half hour, and then I like to call the first 60 minutes the opening range. That's what I like. That's how I like to think about it. But I know that's contrary to the way the definitions are. So, damn it. This damn NQ trade's gonna make me all upset. I guess the only thing we can do really right here is just, not the only thing, but I think we just trade the long side, because the long side seems stronger until we get a big breakdown. That's all we can really do as far as what the chart's telling us. But I've been late on these trades, so I'm not using the problem is it didn't switch over until now. So we're going to be long. Makes sense. I've given a thumbs up. All right, this is a fade trade, so the oil trade is possibly moving in our favor, but I don't have high hopes of that given that it's a fade trade and it's got a couple momentum checks here. But we're up about $130 on that thing. That's this chart here, second chart. The NQ will rip up. Let's look at our internals real quick. Let's look at the NDX. Where is the NDX? There it is. Yeah, going for the weekly open still. So that's where it's going for. Should have been a little bit sized higher, but once again, I was chasing the trade. I'm still not in tune with the market quite yet. So I'm not trading at size. I guess we protect this position. I don't know what we do on this CL trade right here. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll go back to the chart so everybody can see. So we're up about 200 some odd dollars on that CL trade. I'm just going to put in some trailing stops. No need to go negative. I'm probably being too aggressive with this trade. I probably should give it more room. But at this point in time, I just don't want to take a loss in that trade. We're up about $400 on that. And same with the NQ. The NQ is just being a little skittish, trying to take over
Stop filled.
That
Stop filled.
weekly open.
Stop filled.
Completely out of the actual CL trade. Now we're up to about $930 for the day. And then we're long on one lot on the NQ. Up about $100 on that so far. We'll probably get knocked out of that if it actually pulls back. Yeah, see, I was too aggressive on that CL trade. I knew I was. Once again, I'm just easing my way into the market. Just Making sure that I'm not making any dumb trades. No super fader man. Up about $200 there. Just really trading the system, you know. One of my challenges the last year or so is that I developed an aggressive trading style where I would fade too much and I would fight my own system. It's pretty stupid to develop an awesome trading system that's friggin' one of the best ever developed and then fight it every day. It's kind of the dumbest thing you can do as a trader. But no, not the brightest guy in the world. What's up, Rex? Come on, buddy. Come on, man. Hang out with me. Trade with me.
Stop
All right,
filled.
knocked out. We're up to about 1,067 so far, P&L wise. Usually, like I said off stream, I don't have my P&L and I'm not always calling it out. Gold did recapture the weekly open. So I think the next trade is at right around 19.99 on gold. So let's look at the chart. Let's see what it says. Absolutely. That's what it says. So let's look for an overshoot on gold, sell. Right around 2,000. Probably could start now. It might fail right here. This chart 4 is hitting the RDA. So chart 4, damn it. I got out of that NQ trade and I didn't get back in it like an idiot. Too late. I'm not going to chase the trade. This is invalid. I still like where these CL trades are. If it gets up there, I'd like to sell up there. Based on what the system tells us. The system tells us too that gold is looking at 1997 and it might not make it above 1997. But it's so close to the week or the day open. I don't know why I wouldn't try to tag the day open to see if it's going to actually. So that's what I'm looking for in gold. We also got the VWAP right there. So, you know, you got a bunch of stuff. You got the RDA right here. You got the VWAP. You got the day open. And then you got a previous day VWAP. So really, you got all the way up to here that it could be targeting just to kind of, I don't know what phrase you want to use. You know, use some super fancy trader phrase. Or trader phrase. It's going to test the liquidity triple VWAP zone up here. That's what we'll say. There's a liquidity triple VWAP zone up here that it's going to test. In all reality, all we do is trade charts. We don't assign fancy names to these things unless we know that the fancy names are true. Yep. So TA is a broad question. No, you know, I'm just trying to answer your question like as upfront as possible without, so what I try to do here is that if I can answer a question that gives you the answer, but the problem is if the answer to the question is subjective on knowing other things within my trade system that I trade, well, I can't fully answer the question without explaining that. And then I can't explain that sometimes without explaining the other thing. So it's just, I know it's not fair to people that aren't in the training, I guess. I don't know if it's fair or not. I don't know. But, you know, there's some concepts that I can't just answer with one distinct answer because it's dependent on understanding the concept of something else. That's what I mean. Yeah, so if you're doing swing trades, then definitely you're looking at the longer term. You're looking at bigger levels, and then you're predicting. You're using chart 3, you know, and then you're looking at the daily, obviously. But then you've got to scale in, I believe. Like I said, one of the things I'm working on that will be in damn it. I'm trying to see what trade I want to enter. NQ is just being a little frustrating. So we can maybe pull back to the RDA on chart 2. See if it can pull back, and then I think down here is where we'd want to also enter if it does get down here. But it looks like it's going to try to take out the day open or the weekly open. Big tech. It almost looks like it wants to roll over. Almost. NDX is at the open, so Yeah, should have been long there, damn it. All right. Well, we're going to sell this anyways. Once it gets to the area we want to sell it at. It's kind of our first sell zone, so 101 if it gets up there. I don't think it's going to get up there, though. It might. So you said, yeah, with swing, you got to identify a scale-in zone that uses predictive. You need to identify two reaction zones and then scale in between those two reaction zones. And then have a protective stop is the way to swing trade. So if that makes sense. That's what we're looking to short. So we're looking to short that up there right around 13,101. Share this in Discord. Could be wrong there too. Need to look at the day. Let's see what the day looks like. Yeah. Might be too aggressive. That might be too aggressive for a short. Because now that it's captured the week open, it might just want to just keep going. Might be a gap in the go day. Of course, we've got yesterday's high, which is right around 13,031 on the index. So that's the kind of level to watch there. Like I said, these obvious levels, like I don't feel like I have to cover these because they're obvious. And we use them in our system, but the non-obvious levels are where the best trades are, and that's what our system reveals. Yeah, I guess if we get up here, that's where we start shorting. So we're probably a little aggressive on this short, and I didn't do a participation trade when I should have, so I'm a little mad that I didn't actually follow that. Not mad, I'm just a little upset I didn't follow that trade up. Saw it unraveling, not trading aggressively enough. Need to start getting more aggressive. This $1,000 is not enough for today. CL made a never push up. I really like that. I really like this trade zone on CL actually. I think the best trade zone probably is there. That's probably the best trade zone. Right there. Let me show that, I apologize. For CL, this is kind of, if it gets up here, that's kind of my best. Right here. RDA check. So this might be just a small overshoot. I should look and see on chart 4. So I'll look and see if we can see any chart 4 levels. That's what we're going to do here on NQ. So let's see if we can go back and see any chart 4 levels. Obviously not. Man, oh man, oh man. Okay, we do. All right, sweet. All right, so we've got on the upside chart 4. That's our sell zone right there. 13127. 13127 is our sell zone. So between 13127 and the other level, so that's our sell zone. I'll share this on Trade Room Alpha. Trade Room Alpha. That sounds like I was not doing too well there. Booyaka shot. All right. There we go. Trade Room Alpha. We will be sharing our levels, which is, I already said it, 13117 to 13130. That is the high probability fade zone. Trade Room Alpha. I'll do a long entry there right at the week open, and then we'll do another entry right here And then we'll do another entry right here. Look at that. Look at that. Didn't stick with that CL trade. Well, actually, it would have took me out. But I didn't resell that CL trade. Question is, do we want to go long on that thing? It's right at the RDA. I think we do that.
Order filled.
All right. Did an RDA. And then we'll scale in down to here. RDA check on chart 2 is the CL trade. So we'll see if that's gonna play along with us. Or actually, I don't know what. I don't think I've ever said that term before. Play along with us. See if it's actually gonna hold up the way it's supposed to. I need to go get some coffee. That's what I need. Yeah. So, well, I guess TA, to answer your question, the way to look at it is, what's the probability that the week open's going to hold today, and then is it going to hold through tomorrow? That's the question that I'd be looking at as far as a fade trade or a swing trade. We're at the week open, so we don't even have the answer yet. Like there's no, don't have any answer yet. So that's kind of one thing to kind of keep in mind. The chart or the market hasn't provided an answer yet on whether or not the week open is going to hold. The NDX is going to come back and look like it's going to test it. So it could overshoot it, retest the day open, hold up, and then continue up. That's one scenario you could look at. So I'm positioning for a little bit deeper pullback on the NQ below the week open. Just really small lot sizes, just one lots each. Like I said, I'm kind of easing myself in the day-to-day. Part of it, I just got off treatment, so I know I keep mentioning that, but like my mind is not totally thinking straight because I feel like I have a waterlogged head is the way I explain it. So I'm a trader. I trade. So I share this, if I had a hospice nurse, for instance, I'd be teaching the hospice nurse how to execute trades for me. So I just trade. I'd be hanging out with family. This isn't going to happen anytime soon, so don't worry. I don't plan to have my demise happen anytime soon, or I don't feel like it is. But I'd be hanging out with family, and I'd be saying, hey, execute that trade. Go long. I'm a trader. I didn't do the RDA check and the week open check, but I'm letting it overshoot. Not being too aggressive on this. Still think the buyers are a little skittish because they didn't really take out the weekly open with force. They lost some soldiers there. Although we do have an RDA check, right? I mean, that was the best entry. So, but as you can see, it's so one of the things I've said 2 weeks ago is I'm going to solve the holy grail in trading. And then well, who knows if you're ever going to hear from me again. But we are going to figure out how to predict ranges within the first 10% of a range. I'm going to create either an indicator or a series of indicator, pattern, and rules where we will be able to predict ranges in the first 10% of a range. We'll be able to pre-predict ranges, or we'll be able to predict the high probability times when a range will develop. And then my final thing would be a prediction that's 80% correct on how long that range lasts. That's my final goal for that range prediction. I am going to solve that. So that is one of the things that I've been working on within the system. Is the system's already an awesome system. Okay, the system would be even more awesome if it can start predicting ranges 10% in the first 10% of the range, or predict a range before it develops and then predict at 80% accuracy how long that range is going to last. That is my next goal for the trade system. So I have full confidence that we will be able to figure it out. It's going to be a lot of effort, sweat, pain, tears, agony, lost capital, gained capital, but we're going to figure it out. All right. We're long on the CL. We're waiting for that to work out. We're not, I guess we could be long on the NQ for a participation trade here because it seems like it's going to hold.
Order filled.
Just don't want to get too aggressive there. We'll look to get picked up maybe on another possible RDA check there. I was waiting for it to recapture momentum on chart 2, and that's what it did. Well,
order filled.
See, every time I chase the trade here, I'm getting slapped a little bit. Well, not really. I mean, it's holding up, so the RDA held up. I'm gonna put some tight stop losses on that. I don't want to get knocked out, or I don't want to. Okay, there we go. Starting to move. NQ, we're in two. Nah, no, it's not. It's fighting between the momentum and the bias. It's kind of sometimes one of the worst times to enter a trade is when the momentum's short and then the bias is long, because you don't know which one's going to win out. You don't know if the momentum is stronger at that time, or you don't know if the bias is stronger at that time. And literally on chart 2, that's where we're at. We're at this kind of time where it's arguing between momentum and bias. So far the bias is holding, but as we can see here, it's not. I don't know. Just got to be patient with it. And we're right at the weekly open. So we're right at the weekly open. There we go. Got a little bit of spike up. All right, I'm just going to put some trailing stops in. Just either get knocked out at a loss, or actually it will move up. Looks like it's going to move up. We'll see. There we go. Move up. Just one more impulse. Needs to take out this next level. It takes out 13,087. It's going to rip up. So if it takes out 13,087, it's going to rip up. Chart 2 is what I'm using. Yeah, son of a bitch. Might just range out here. We're about to have the opening range close, 4 minutes. So expect some volatility around that time. I'm going to get knocked out of this trade.
Stop filled.
Fuck you. Sorry. Sorry for the swearing. Just did not want to be knocked out, but also we're getting to a volatility range, or we're getting to where we expect some volatility with the opening range closing here in 3 minutes. So it could rip up just as much as it could rip down. I mean, it could vol either side. I'm still pissed that it took me out. It's only one lot. You little bitch. I don't expect CL and NQ to move up together. I expect them to diverge at some point in time. So, all right.
Order filled.
I got out of CL. Just one lot on this NQ. Once again, it's not the best area to trade. The best area to trade is what I've identified as the sell area up above. That's the best fade. And then even then we should wait for confirmation. Gold. Yeah, screw you, dude. Gold is gold sold off, lost the weekly open. So, gold almost is set for an aggressive trade there, I would say. Almost. Just because if it lost the weekly open and it's not going to recapture it, then that 1950 something zone that I mentioned could be on the table. Why are the buyers not stepping up anymore? When they turned into little wimps. Buyers turned into little bitches. Yeah, they started stepping up. They're like, oh, you know what? I don't think I want to buy anymore. I think we're going to quit. All right, we're going to remove all of these here. I think we're going to probably look at getting into the GC trade here on the short side. I think it's worth a little bit of a risk that it's not going to recapture the weekly open, but we could be wrong here. So
Order filled.
enter the trade there. Then we'll put some trailing stops up here. See how that goes. See whether or not gold actually sells off or it comes back and retests the weekly open. That's the only kind of, not the risk, but that's kind of the risk that we're taking here, is that it's going to come back hard and recapture the weekly open. But the fact that it failed on the weekly open there, I think I'll go with what the chart's telling us. Plus, if you look at chart 4, we've got a little bit of room on that trade if it's going to go to the next level, don't we? Members, you should already see what room we have. I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to wait for someone in Trade Room Alpha or somewhere else to tell you where the room is for the trade on the downside. NatGas sold off pretty well. That was actually a perfect trade that I missed. How dare you? Yeah, look at these buyers, man. They're wimping out. Wimp-ass buyers. Come on, NQ buyers. You guys got it. You can do it. Vol's really shut down. I mean, the volatility is kind of really, I mean, maybe it's going to jump up here, but it's really slowed down. Anytime now. Anytime now, buyers, you can step up. All right, we got the opening range has been developed. The opening range has been fully developed today. We got the high of the opening range, and then we got the mids. One thing on gold. Yeah. Yeah, I should have stayed with that CL trade. I've got to re-examine my CL positioning. I've got to get better at being patient with CL. That should have been $1,000 trade right there. On CL, I should have, and it still could be possibly, but, or not. I mean, it should have been $1,000 trade. Because I had the level marked. Just did not stick with it. Kind of makes me upset there.
Order filled.
I picked up on another 2 lots on gold, GC. So we'll see how this plays out. I mean, we got challenges. I really don't want to scale in all the way up to the RDA, but I got a plan to scale into all the way up to the RDA on chart 4. It's kind of what I got to plan if I'm gonna trade this correctly. So there's 2 ways to really enter a trade. You either single entry or you scale in. You don't do either or. Meaning you need to decide what type of trader you are. Good morning. So if you plan to scale into a trade, then you should have obviously a good scale in plan. But if you do single entry, you never scale in if that wasn't part of your plan. I think one of the biggest challenges I see traders make is that they don't write down. So I have a mind map, and I'll show it here. If you don't know what a mind map is. As soon as I find the application that I can open up my mind map in. All right, so we're in profit on both our trades right now on the NQ, and then we're in 4 lots on GC. We'll see if that holds up. It's right at the 50% OR, so it might not hold up. Up about $300 there, $300 on the actual NQ trade, trailing stop there, and then we don't have any trailing stops in the actual GC trade yet because I want to see what it's going to do. We're waiting for the zone up above to sell NQ. Sell it pretty heavy if we get the right signal. If we don't get the right signal, obviously we won't be selling it. It's a pretty obvious statement there, I guess. Up about $500 on our GC trade now. We're up about $500 on our NQ1 lot trade. I don't know why this is up here. Oh, I know why that's up there. We don't want it up there. Okay, why is it not deleting? It's not on, whatever. Well, right here we'll decide whether or not GC is probably going to sell off here. If it does a check up and then it fails, then it's probably going to sell off. Or it could just sell off here. Once again, trading the system. For those that are new, I have just the indicator for that with PM here. Okay, great. Great. Love to see it. Join Discord down below. That's where the best stuff happens. Also, if you... Okay. Let's see. About $600 up on that. CL hit the VWAP. So, but the day open is kind of, I think, where it wants to go. So I think the question is, do you trade down to the day open on CL? Or do you wait for the day open and see what resolves there? I mean, ideally, if you get the good entry, you could trade down to the day open on CL. So far up 565, 660 on the GC trade. Well, we want to see the GC trade for it to fully work out in our favor. The first, well, we've got a level, we've got two levels that we're really watching on GC. We've got this, we've got, actually we've only got, you know, it's interesting actually. Yeah. If it loses 1985, it's probably going to go down to 1956. GC. If it loses 1985, it's probably going to go down there. But so far, the buy side is stepping up a little bit there. But so we've got to be willing to take a loss on that trade to trade it effectively on GC. It's a longer swing trade I'm looking at on GC. So we just got to hold our position here and then scale in if it comes up with the expectation that it's not going to close above 1996. That's really kind of the way to trade that. But ideally, you don't want it to see it recapture the week open. So longer term trade, we'll see how that plays out. And Q's continue to move. I wish I would have been sized more higher on that than just one little baby lot. Come up to our zone. Let's see what the NQ is looking like on a larger time frame. Let's look at the daily. Yep. So why is this fast momentum here? It's not even the fast momentum. Fast momentum's down here. We got a weekly open. Could reach for that weekly open. That's something to be careful of. Yeah, that's something to be mindful of there. Is the week open. All right. So we'll wait for that zone to hit up here. Then we'll probably short. Probably what we'll end up doing. GC is just playing around with us. Playing around with our entry. Tempting us to get out. I think that's what it's doing. Just trading the system. Once again, relatively. Yeah, you know, on a GC, I know I said I'd do the higher time frame analysis on it. There really isn't a need because, well, I mean, the higher time frame analysis is going to do one of two things. It's either going to hold the lows, it's so obvious, or it's going to go down and test the RDA. It's pretty obvious. I mean, if we just go, let me just open this up fully. Not that. I didn't want to open up that fully. How do I close that fully? Okay. I always do that. There we go. Then we go day. So it's pretty obvious. I mean, it can't be more obvious. I already outlined this zone. You see that? That was way back then. So, you know, the system that you see me trade is highly predictive. You know, we're trading around reaction zones. So if this zone is lost, there's only two other places it's going to go. It's going to go here, to the RDA, right here, right around 1953. That's where it's going if this zone is lost. It would maybe have one opportunity, and this is simple. This is day one trader. We've got a level here which aligns with this. So if it loses this zone, it's going to go down here. That's what my system says. My system says it's going to go down here if it loses this zone. Plain and simple. I don't need to think about it anymore. That's what's going to happen. So that's the system I trade. That's what I'm trading against. So, you know, it would take me less than 20 seconds to do that technical analysis based on my system. And then we trade accordingly. Up about $840 on the NQ trade. That's not bad. Waiting for this to be tagged, and then maybe above, and then maybe we'll start thinking about selling the NQ. That's what we're waiting for that trade. Gold is not participating in the sell-off for some reason. It doesn't want to sell off. It's a little upsetting. It's got me a little emotional. My ear thing went away, so I'm actually in a decent mood now. One of the best things you can do if you want to actually trade the system is join the training. $9.97 one-time fee, includes all indicators. And when we ghost, you'll be along for the ride. When we go stealth, you'll be along for the ride if you're a member. Other than that, everything's going away. Poof. Any other questions? Anything else I can answer on charts or anything? Ooh, look at that crude oil sell-off. What did I say? I said you either trade it down to the day open or you wait for the day open. What did I not do? I did not trade it down to the day open because I'm not aggressively trading. Some of this talk that I do, by the way, is me talking to myself to kind of get my mindset right. Once again, I'm just getting off treatment, so like, I'm not super aggressively trading. So, I mean, but that's a prime example. Did I not call that CL trade like 10 minutes ago? So you either trade it down to the day open or you wait for the day open and then you trade around that. Well, now I'm forced to trade around the day open because I didn't take the sell when it hit the RDA. Chart 2, look at that. Perfect. I mean, not really perfect. Overshoot and then confirmation. Not take the trade. So what am I? Am I a chart watcher or am I a trader? What am I? I need to figure that out. I'll tell you what I am. I'm a trader. So I need to start trading. We get knocked out of here, the NQ position will be up about $2,000 or so. If this GC trade works in our favor, we might add to it at some key area, but it's not in our favor yet. We're just up $300 in that thing, and it could easily go against us here based on what the price action's doing. We want to see an impulse up. We want to see a tag at that level. We're starting to get into our sell zone though, but we don't want to start too early on NQ. There we go. Get into our sell zone. Don't want to start too early though. Ah, look at that. Perfect sell-off right there. Right at that level. Perfect. I'll get any more perfect than that. Now let's see if it'll go into our zone there between. I want to see it get into the zone of 117 and 130, and then anything above that is possibly sellable. Possibly shortable, I should say. Oompa Loompa land. CL's got a while to go before it gets to 74 spot 11 for the buy. That's the next buy on CL. I was in that trade too, and I just didn't stick with it. Obviously I wasn't in this trade if I didn't. Yeah. Wasn't not trading aggressively enough. My mind doesn't feel fully there yet. That's part of the challenge. So I hate this every 2 weeks that I get this treatment, because, like, well, number one, you feel like crap, but number two, the mind aspect is just waterlogging my mind. So that's why generally around this time I generally do more of my entertainment company stuff that I do, my writing and stuff like that. I'm not doing a lot of trading stuff just because my mind isn't totally there to do that. Once again, it should be called waiting, not trading, because what are you doing most of the time? You're waiting for the right. That would have been a trade there to try to a quick scalp. Would have been an easy quick scalp right on CL, right at the day open. You know, there's so many opportunities to scalp if you wanted to be a super scalper with this system. Like, I used to be a super scalper much more than I am now. There's so many opportunities to highly aggressively scalp if you want to be a super scalper. But nowadays I'm looking to position my trades kind of more.
Stop filled.
I don't know if we sell that yet though. Yeah, I don't think we sell it yet. Although if I don't sell it quick, we might miss the opportunity to sell the NQ. Damn it. Little bastard. All right. Not as good a P&L. We're only up $1,500. But when we're trading one lot, what do we expect? I'm talking to myself. Like, what do I expect? I'm only trading one lot. What do I expect? Well, that gold trade is starting to sell off a little bit, maybe. Buyers are still stepping up a little bit. Yeah. We just need one impulse down to that level. One impulse down to 1995, and then we'll see. But it's holding. And now it's going to. The thing is, if NQ sells off, there's a possibility that the GC might rip up. There it goes, testing the week open. It's again, I guess I could have technically put a stop there and then restart it over. Technically.
Order filled.
Early sell there. It's pretty good CL reaction there off the daily open. It's pretty good. That would have been a great trade. I was waiting for the level down below. That's the better trade. So I mean that would have been a great trade though. Should have traded that. I want to get positioned so I can put some trailing stops in, then I can go make some coffee. Anyways, any questions, anything? It's kind of slow. I haven't seen anybody, I guess I'm not engaging enough. Hey, good. I'm doing good. Just trading slow as I'm just recovering. Yeah, so I'm just trading slow. I'm just recovering, so I'm not trying to get too aggressive. Don't want to get on the wrong side of a trade and then have to have all my faculties. Yeah, one of the best things you can do though, if you just join, is join Discord. Yeah, I mean, it's just time. That's all I need. Like, I just need time from my treatment. That's just time, and just healthy eating is really the key. Yeah, I'm focusing on, you're right, Naj, I'm focusing on trading the system. So, I don't do the system any justice if I get on here and I fight the system every day, because then you're not seeing what truly, you're not seeing the system is being fought against. Yeah, no, I know. I mean, I know you're in Discord, but I'm just saying, I've been focusing on squashing my last bad trading habit, which is fading too much and not trading with the system. So that's been why I've been just more. The trading hasn't been as aggressive, just because once I get that habit squashed, then I'm gonna start putting on size, and then I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. If I can squash this habit that I have developed, it will be some awesome trading. Is my personal prediction. We're a little too close to the weekly open on the GC trade. I just do not like the fact that it wants to test it. It's just that everything's slow today. Volatility is extremely low. Things aren't moving. I mean, they're moving, but not really. See, there we go. And then, like I said, my position, here's the thing. I almost should just get out of that trade. Just because look where my position is. I say this all the time. One of the ways to get out of tunnel vision is if your position is in the middle of a range, you have no edge. So look at my position here. I'm in the middle of a range. Terrible position. So if you look at this here, you just go here and just say range. Like just using the closes. My position is literally in the middle of a range. So terrible position, absolutely garbage. And I could make the argument, well, I'm trading longer term, which I am, but I mean, it's still a terrible entry based on the story of the chart. It's just a terrible entry. So there's no rhyme or excuse around it. Now that I see that, though, I probably should have got out when I was in profit there and said, okay, let's just start over or get a better position. Yep. So now that the NQ is in a sell-off, then we're going to see possibly, the GC try to rise. And then the NQ is probably going to hit a level, possibly, here. And then we'll see. All right. NQ lost. Might be just an overshoot, so be very mindful there. And then, yeah, I'm only in one lot there because I didn't want to. Oh, I did. I wanted to hit the top zone, but it didn't. Might be stopping right here. The NQ, where it's probably going, is right here. 070. Trying to do another day.
Order filled.
Another weekly test. I wasn't with that trade, just with one lot. Damn it, Jim. We only got one lot. Got a momentum check on chart 4 right here. Down about a G on that gold trade. Once again, terrible entry there. And now it's just... Now the one thing actually that I am concerned about is chart 3 is starting to play a role in that gold trade. And why don't I have any of the countdowns on this thing? What the fuck? Why does this chart not have the countdowns? Okay. It pisses me off. Why does this chart not have any of those? Did this... This is probably better where we need to be positioned for our sell right there than right here. Terribly executed trade on GC there, I will say that. We're still going on the same criteria, but yeah. I don't trade YM. I switch out my third. So no, I don't trade YM. I mean, I could trade anything. You know, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The system works on everything. So it doesn't matter what I trade. Just YM correlates too much with what I trade. So I try to find 4 different assets that on the futures market that don't correlate. And as you can see here, gold and NQ sometimes counter correlate, or they one's moving up, one's moving down. So, when you look at that, it doesn't matter where you deploy your capital because they're moving in the same pattern. The pattern's the same. So it doesn't matter where you deploy your capital, to GC or to NQ. The pattern is the same. You're the short one or long the other one. It doesn't really matter. So, in some aspects, I'm trading the GC trade kind of aggressively as far as
Order
what
filled.
the NQ's doing. So that's one thing to keep in mind there. waiting for the next level here on the actual NQ, which is right around, this is chart 4, right around 068. Is that what that is? Yeah, 068. Should have been heavier there. What is it hitting? All right, so that's hitting the it lost the OR high, the NQ. So now it's just a matter, is it going to come back and do a momentum check? Is it gonna come back and do a weekly open momentum check, or is it going to go down to the RDA? It's kind of one thing to watch on the NQ there. I think it still has a ways to go. I think it has at least down to 069. So I think that's where it's going. Great. What's going on in futures trading? Did you try trading using Binance Futures? Did I? Yeah. But I can't. And please don't try to give me like advice on how I can trade Binance Futures. I already know how I could probably try to do it. So, but I trade KuCoin futures. So now that could be just an overshoot of the momentum indicator. That's one thing to watch. That could be it. I know, relatively slow day, especially for me.
Stop filled.
Got stopped out of the NQ. We're currently up. P&L wise, we're at 1850, but you know we've got a negative trade on GC that's 830. So really, if we were to get out right now and say we're going to call it a day, we'd walk around. We'd be able to walk out with about $1,000. If we were to call today a day, based on where we sit. Now the question is on the NQ. Is this an overshoot of momentum and bias, and is it going to go to the next level? And does it even want to test the weekly open again? That's the question. Should almost sell this. Almost, but I think it's too aggressive to sell the NQ at this point in time. But this would be an overshoot of chart 2, but the buyers look like they're probably trying to step up. Yeah, see that? GC's moving up. Trying to hold the weekly open, so that's something to watch. I might have to take a loss on that thing. Depends on how aggressively it holds the weekly open. Just a bad position from start. I guess we'll go with the 5 level there. We'll just stick with the 5 level.
Order filled.
NQ is either going to sell off here, or it's going to find, or it's going to recapture momentum and bias on chart 2. So that's why I shorted that. And I plan to scale in right around the extreme band. So it's either going to hit that, react, or it's going to go down. Of course, our GC trade is still given an opportunity to work out a little bit here, because we still got an RDA check above, but might be taking a loss in that trade. Really depends on how it rolls out. Problem is that I don't want to scale in all the way up to here, but I probably will have to. It's probably what I'll have to do on this trade. Just trade it properly. The NQ is gonna try to hold the momentum on chart 4 too. So I might have entered that trade a little too early, a little too aggressively on that short, because it looks like it's gonna hold up. Yeah, looks like it might hold up. We'll see.
Order filled.
These really aren't fades on this NQ trade. This is kind of more of a, I mean, it is a fade trade. Yeah, that's it. It's a fade trade. So this is, you know, whether or not it's going to actually lose and go down to the level at 069. That's the question. Ooh. Gold's continue to move up. And Q's holding the momentum check on chart 2. Yeah, I might have to get out of that NQ trade. Yep. Buyers are stepping up. We'll give them one more chance to fail on this overshoot, then I'm going to get out. Probably should have been trading with the momentum of that trade, not expecting the level downside. I was looking for 069, so we'll see. But we'll see if that's going to play out. At this point in time, I'm just going to put trailing stops, and it's either going to hit the trail stops or not. I can't see that chart. There we go. All right. We'll see if that's going to sell off or not and go to our next level on the NQ. Looks like it will. But buyers are still stepping up. Up about $400 on that trade. I don't think it's going to work out in our favor, though. I'm not going to give it much room. That's the problem. Yeah, I love the way TradingView blocks all of your position information here. They just can't figure out how to offset these labels. How hard is that, TradingView? Just offset it. Jeez. I should just buy TradingView and then make it exactly how I want it. We'll see. I mean, I know you can't see the actual position on TradingView, but I'm up about $500 roughly if it continues to sell off. But since TradingView doesn't know how to offset their labels, you can't see that.
Stop filled.
Yeah.
Stop filled.
Of course. Little bitch.
Stop filled.
Yeah. I just got stopped out of all of it. It was a fade trade, aggressive fade trade, so I didn't expect to stay in it long. I'm still waiting for that upward. We'll sell the upside. And then we're still watching gold to see what gold's going to do. But at this point in time, you know, best case scenario is that it comes up here, does this VWAP test. We'll probably be down about $4,000. And then it'll come back and take out the week open. That's the best case scenario. Or not the best case. That's one case scenario that I'm looking at here. But I started that position way too early like an idiot. And I got 2 opportunities to get out of it, and I didn't take it. What is this? Let's talk. I can give you some ideas for the TradingView issue. And no, you haven't. What issue do I have with TradingView? I have a lot of issues with TradingView. So which issue specifically? Yeah, I mean, look at that. I was right on the direction there. Sure. You know, the key with scaling in it really comes down to yeah, no, I know that you can so the stock bot, I know we can become a third-party developer, just like, you know, you see on all these other platforms, and then we have access to their library. Yeah, no, we're looking at that. So that's something we're looking at. Just so, like, so for, I guess I'll share. Well, I'm not going to share too much. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that I'm not sharing with members because I'm a type of person that likes to execute. And then I don't like to talk before things are fully done. But the one thing that you do need to listen to me on is that, and I'll just be completely upfront here, I want to live another 10 to 20 years, at least, but I have terminal cancer. So obviously I have to face that fact every 2 weeks when I get treatment, right? But it's stable. I feel good. I feel healthy, other than when I'm on treatment. But I want to go out like a badass with what we're doing here. And to me, the way we go out like a badass is we create the things that we're working on behind the scenes that I haven't shared with anybody. We roll it out to members, and then we go stealth and we ghost. And then members get to take advantage of the awesome things that we've built to have tremendous edge on the markets. And we do it silently as ninjas. So that's how I badass go out. And I'm going to start mentioning it less and less as we move forward. But the only people that are going to roll with us are members. So I'm excited. I'm working towards that every single day. So yeah, no, thank you, Stockbot, for sharing that we can do that with I only have the middle level. I have not wanted to do the highest. No, well, that's, you know, actually, I'm not going to say anything more. That is beautiful. Would I buy the 5-minute RDA bounce on C2? So on chart 2, we see a stair-step pattern, don't we? Should have went long there on the NQ. So right now, P&L wise, we're up about $1,900, but we're down $1,600 on an open trade. So, you know, we'd still be up for the day, but we're aggressively trading the. Well, we're not aggressively. Yeah. It's all about the weekly open there. Now, this is the other thing that obviously the market's watching is a double top here on this 5-minute here for the NQ. So obviously any day one trader is going to be saying, okay, is the double top. All right, CL's hitting the level that I said before. Remember I said the level that we're watching for is 74.09, around that range. Well, it's about to get there. So, you know, that would have been an awesome trade on CL. That short that I was in that I got out of too early because I put my tights on. I became Batman and I put my tights on. No, I put my stop loss too tight. Oh, sweet. I'll try that. Thank you. Sorry I wasn't watching on YouTube. Hey Rex, did you try trading using Binance futures? Well, I can't. I'm in the US. I agree. I've been trading NQES and YM, but I see that the YM moves much more cleaner. Oh, maybe we'll try the YM in place of NG. And then I am the GOAT. On your Alpha Discord here. You are a jury? Okay. Hi, I am new to trading and stuff, and I'm planning to try trading Forex. Do you recommend a broker? Yeah, for Forex, I like Oanda, whatever it is. And then I like Forex.com. So those are the two brokers I use. Then you can do other brokers as well. But
order filled.
So, but those two brokers, I that's what I trade Forex on. I know there's other brokers. I have a couple other brokers I use, but those seem to do a pretty decent job for me. And I trade long-term, no stop losses with my Forex trades. Try right-click on price scale label, no overlapping labels. Maybe that'll work. Thanks, TA. I'll try that. You know, I appreciate that. So right-click here. And then what did you say? So right-click here. Price scale labels. Ah, you know what? Maybe they do. No, yeah, it is. It says no overlapping labels. So I have it clicked. But oh, I didn't realize that you could do this. I didn't realize you could do bid and ask labels. Yeah. So that's obviously not, that must be labels for price stuff. It must not be labels for the trades. Interesting. All right, so now with the NQ, you kind of decide at this point in time. Oh, I did do 2 lots on the CL. So that level check, 2 lots on CL, so we're long CL. We're in profit roughly around $80, $100. We're down bigly on gold futures. Problem is that changed the momentum, so it might be, we're looking to see if that's an overshoot. All right, I'm going to give our oil trade just a little bit of room, but not much room. There we got our 2 trailing stops in there. We're about $140 up on the CL trade. Yeah.
Stop filled.
Once again, what am I doing? I'm not giving the CL trade enough room to move, but it's going back down to do a double test. So there's no reason to be in a loss on that
Order
trade.
filled.
It's a fade trade at this point in time, so there's no reason to be in a loss or to risk losing on that trade. And that daily does not look pretty. So, with the CL trade, you got to be just a little not aggressive. Now, here's the challenge with NQ.
Order filled.
This is the challenge with NQ. Do you trade the 5-minute double top? So do you trade the double top on the NQ on the 5-minute, or do you not? There we are. We re-entered the CL trade. We did get knocked out, but then we re-entered. You can see here, we'll see this is kind of a fade trade on CL, but it could continue to move, so we'll just kind of let it kind of do its thing as I continue to talk like a 90s rapper. Okay, we're in our sell zone on NQ, and we might be able to get an opportunity. So now here's where we're at on the GC trade. It's gonna test the weekly open, so it could hold the weekly open, and then, or it might give us an opportunity to get out, or so. I think NQ's got more legs to it. It looks like it has more legs to it. If we were to look at this, I think it's got more legs to it. If we look at the daily, I think it's ready to kind of move up to these next levels. Yeah. I mean, it's got this weekly open. It's got a tag. But if it holds this weekly open, this previous week open, then there's no reason, if we look at the 4-day, there's no reason it's not going to continue. According to our system. That means that our next level that we're watching is up here, 13,087 on the NDX. And I'm not in that trade either. Like a little. Yeah. But I'm in the CL trade, and we're up roughly $800 on that. Is that $800? Can I read that right? Am I reading that right? Yeah, we're up about a G on that CL trade. Level check, baby, as Biggie would say. That's the only fade trade that you members are allowed to do if you don't have your fade card. Chart 4, level check. You should have done that trade if you were in CL. Look at that NQ move, and I'm not even in it. It's a sad, sad, sad day when I'm not in a trade and it's moving. Sound like what's his name? That conspiracy dude. Look at that NQ trade. Did not. Look at that. That was obvious since that. Remember what I said about 10 minutes ago? Stair-step structure. I hate missing trades, man. I hate missing trades. Especially when I call it. I'm like, stair-step structure on NQ. Long was so obvious. Didn't take the trade. I hate missing trades, man. I hate missing trades. Especially when I have an always-in trade system. It's like, that's mad annoying. I guess we're up $1,100 on the CL trade. We should be happy that we actually caught that trade. And then we'll see what's happening on GC. But I hate missing trades. Yeah, that's true, TA. It happens to the best of us. Still doesn't feel good. I mean, it's better than being down. It's better than being in a trade that you shouldn't have been
Stop
trading.
filled.
Right? All right, so we got knocked out of one lot on the CL trade. We're going to give it a little bit of room on the last lot. P&L-wise, we're up to 2,300. But that doesn't mean jack because we have one open trade that held the weekly open. So in some aspects, we need to figure out whether or not we're going to trade ourselves out of that or it's going to sell off. The longer that it holds the weekly open, the more likely it's going to hold the weekly open. So that's something to keep in mind. The NDX, I think that's at that. I mean, if it hits this zone, I think that's the sell zone for this. It did breach the previous day high. So I think our next zone, and that aligns with another weekly level too. If we look at this here, this weekly level is being breached. There's another weekly level here, and then that aligns with this level here, and then you got a couple highs. Yeah, I think really at this point in time, I might be a heavy seller based on what the system. We have to wait for confirmation. So kind of our standard charting system tells us that we probably should be sellers right in here. But we also should wait for confirmation. So that means we use the 4-chart setup to wait for confirmation. But it might not be much of a reaction to the downside. So that's something to keep in mind. And then gold is really starting to punish us a little bit. So I either need to get out of that trade or seriously trade myself out of that trade. That's kind of the thing on gold right now. So we need to get out of that trade on gold, or we need to. Where's my P&L on that? There it is. Or I needed to decide. I mean, it's still along my plan, so that's the thing. Just so like gold is I'm looking for an RDA check there on the daily. So we're trading the daily chart. I'm trading the daily levels and scaling in on gold just so for full, not disclosure, but just so you know what I'm doing with gold. I'm trading the daily level, and the daily level is 1956. So that's what I'm trading. So I'm trading that it's lost momentum, it's lost bias, and then our target is 1956. That's what I'm trading on gold. So just so you know, that's a longer term trade outside of my normal kind of trade metrics that you typically see me trade. But I looked at the chart on the daily and we've got 3 zones that I can cover. And then we'll see. But it doesn't matter though. My entry was terrible for that. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the best. Given I'm still in the middle of a range. So it wasn't the best entry. Terrible entry. But I'm trading GC at a longer term. You know, we're at a longer term chart. The problem is now that the 60 is playing a role, that I really just need to be up here to trade that. I want to see at least 3 more impulses on the actual NDX up to this zone. That's what I'd like to see before I sell. So here's the thing. So if you want to understand kind of the scale in for this longer term GC trade, is that if the trade's going to work out, my position here is good. If it's going to work out. So you're not seeing me scale in this mess. This isn't an extreme. So there's no benefit based on my position here. If the trade that I'm looking at is going to work out, to scale in here. My scale in has to be up here for it to even make any sense. And then that's an expectation of a failure. So we're predicting a failure up here. Well, that's what we're trading against, is a failure up here. So that's why when you look at this, as far as I'm not scaling into this zone, because my position as far as the overall trade that I'm doing, I'm good. What I mean by that is I'm good because I don't think this is valid anymore. Because if the trade's going to work out in my favor, it doesn't. I mean, yeah, I'd like to have more. I'd like to have my basis higher, obviously, on the short. But to properly scale in, I shouldn't be scaling in within the range that my position is already boxed in, is kind of the way to explain it. I don't know if that makes sense to people. Hello. Hi.
Stop
Hi,
filled.
and welcome. I can't read the name on TradingView, so I apologize. I'll make it larger. So one of the best things you can do, I got knocked out of that CL trade. So we're up about, P&L wise, we're up about 29.88. Needs to be better than that, but obviously we're down $1,900 in one trade, so that P&L's meaningless. So now let's see what we want to do. What do we want to do? Nothing. We want to make coffee. That's what we want to do, man. Let's make some coffee. Whoa. What's up, Shorty? What's going on there? P&L today. We'll see if this GC trade's going to... I wanted to lose the weekly open, but it's playing well with momentum. I don't want to get too aggressive on the NQ trade. Now, CL oil recaptured the day open. So now you can maybe do a buy right here around the RDA on chart 2 and here, and then basically see what happens from there. But I was knocked out of that trade. Made probably about $1,000 on that. That's not bad. For about 5-minute trade. It's not a bad trade. Just trade in the system once again. Try not to be too aggressive on that Nasdaq buy because we are at the high, but I mean, I think it still wants to go up to this level, but it's not being aggressive. I do need to make some coffee. I'm going to do that now because I think we're good enough. We're far enough away where I'm not going to get filled on anything I have to immediately manage. So I'm going to make some coffee real quick. Any questions, feel free. Also, if you're new, you want to join Discord, that's one of the best things you could do. And then if you join Discord, feel free to ask questions. All right, make coffee. It's like I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, what am I going to do? Come on, buddy. Help me make coffee. Can't make coffee without dog's help. What are you doing here by yourself, man? Hi. I know, man. You're my buddy, man. Lock it, lock it, lock.
Order filled.
What did we get picked up at, man? Oh, we got picked up on the NQ, I bet. Sure did. Ooh, gold's going against us too. Doesn't that suck? Held the weekly open on gold. Might have to take a loss on that. Might have to destroy my whole P&L for the day. We'll see. Not going to give much room on this actual RDA check here on the NQ because it might just sell off from here. Yeah. It's not going to hold. Take me out. The question is, am I going to miss the best sell opportunity here on the NQ? I guess we're still in that trade. Okay. And GC is still playing around with that little range there. Trying to figure out what it wants to do. Up about $85, $100 on one NQ lot. Every $100 counts, right? Still making copy.
Stop filled.
Sorry, buddy. Oh, I'm sorry. So one thing we're going to start doing here, and I don't have my coffee done yet, but it's all going. I'm going to start kind of keeping a regular schedule as far as trading just a few hours in the morning and then trading in the afternoon. And then for those that, and then I will be trading throughout the lunch session, but I'll be calling those trades in Discord. So I'll be sharing what I'm doing, and I share setups and I share levels and everything else in Discord. But I just can't stream the whole day. Number one, it's not healthy. Number two, I don't want to. So I'm not going to. But I'll stream at least once a day for sure. But, if I'm trading, there's no reason why I shouldn't stream, except for, like I said, all day. So I plan to stream like in the morning and then the open and then stream the afternoon, or someday I might just stream the afternoon. And then eventually my nephew will start streaming as well. So sorry about that. I apologize about that loud noise. We probably should short the NQ actually, but then our GC trade doesn't make sense. We'll see. So it's a momentum check. We shouldn't do that. All right. There we go. Thanks for yelling at me, whoever yelled at me. No one yelled at me, but someone should have been yelling at me. Someone should have been yelling, dude, you're fading. That's a fade trade. Momentum. Okay, that was weird. Just had a reset there. NatGas is hitting a 60-minute key level, RDA. That might be worth looking at trading. The weekly open is looking to hold again on GC, so we'll see how that's going to hold. Otherwise, I'm still, like I said, that's a longer term trade. If you have joined Discord and you want to join the Bravo group, just ask to join Bravo. That basically is one trade setup. Lets you kick the tires a little bit, but my expectation is if you're joining Bravo, you're going to eventually become an alpha. So if you're interested in kind of learning more about the trade system, getting a little bit behind the scenes more, when you join Discord, ask to join the Bravo group. And then there's one trade setup that we share in the Bravo group that you should master. It has edge alone. The things I share on TradingView alone have edge. So, I don't just share things randomly. They have edge. Okay, let's see what we're going to do. I don't see any trade opportunity that really... At this point, we need to see a failure on the NQ to short that. So that's where we're at on the NQ. We should have traded momentum on that momentum check. So I should have traded long. I should have went long there. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever.
Order filled.
So we're going to go long, but we're not going to go aggressively long because we are chasing that trade. Hey, good afternoon. Good to see you here. Geobora. Any questions? Okay. Did get a new coffee machine. So it's the first time using it. So we'll see how that works out for us. I just did hear that it's ended. All right, now, not going to get too aggressive on this buy here, but we'll put some trailing stops in the market. And then hopefully we get picked up on that second entry and then it rips up. That's really what we're looking to do. Trading momentum there. Once again, not fading, not being super fader man. Rex looks so happy today in that picture on the thumbnail today, doesn't he? That's after he got his haircut. That's his, I just got my haircut. I'm freaking happy. You know, you took me from the evil people that give me my haircut. So he does not like getting his haircut. But that is a after picture of him getting his haircut, I believe. We'd like to see the actual GC fail the weekly open and then come down and test the downside level that we're looking for. We'd probably take some profit on that if it did that, but right now it's not cooperating, so not much we can do about that whole situation. It's not going to cooperate. We are in one lot on the NQ momentum. I missed the best entry. That's why I only did a participation trade. I missed the best entry there. You're already in. I think you're already in alpha, aren't you? Yeah, so if you're already in alpha, you don't need to be in the Bravo. The Bravo, you already have the full system. So yeah, I mean, I'll send you the exact trade. I mean, it's the VWAP trade. So, you know, I believe any trade system that you adopt, you're going to want to know the VWAP. So we have a highly effective VWAP series of indicators and trade that we've developed that has edge alone. So I'll send that to you just so that you have it. But I mean, if you want to join the Bravo group anyways, just to kind of be focused, I mean, that's fine. But you're already, if you're an alpha, you don't need to necessarily join the Bravo group, because we're focusing on the Bravo group. It's focusing on, this is the test of the Bravo group really is a test. Whether or not you can stay focused on one trade that has tremendous edge and master that one trade. If you can do that, well, see, here's the thing. I'll just share this. If you're trying to find 17 different trades to do, or 3 or 4, it's just crazy. Focus on mastering one trade. No, it's not nothing different. So sorry if I wasn't clear. So alphas, look, the Bravo I set up, or we set up, so that someone that is, well, there's 2 reasons for the Bravo. Someone that maybe is new and they just want to see how we operate at a little deeper level, but they are resonating with the style and they want to become an alpha. So join the Bravo. We're in the private Bravo group. It's free to join. But my expectation, if you're in the Bravo group, that you're focusing on that one trade that we're providing and you're mastering that one trade. And ideally, you'd like to become an alpha and join us in the alpha group. Or you don't have enough capital to actually maybe afford the $997, which is a tremendous opportunity, tremendous value, and you just can't afford it. And so then, okay, you do have some capital to trade, and you use this trade setup to get enough capital to become an alpha. That would be my preferred method for you to kind of join the Bravos. Or you might just join it and say, you know, look, this little dog guy, this Rex guy, I just do not like. I joined the alphas and he just annoys the heck out of me, and he's just not for me. Look, I'm not for everybody. Do we sell this? That's the question. Do we sell this? I don't think we do. I still don't think we sell this, but we are getting an RSI signal. All right, I got to go get my coffee now that it's officially done. Buddy, you keep leaving me. I'm like your best friend, but you don't want to be my best friend. See, I told you we should have bought that on the NQ. No short on the NSQ, or are you talking about the NQ? No, not yet. You talking on NQ? So, no, not yet. And then this GC trade is long term. You know, we're looking for 1956 target on GC gold using higher time frame levels. That's what we're doing on that. So since I'm going to jump off here in a few minutes, is there any questions anybody has? Any questions you want me to answer? And then I'm going to start, I'm going to start adding some mindset stuff to every stream that we do, just because that's one of the biggest challenges that people have. So today's mindset lesson is, well, actually we can take it from today. Okay. Staying out of tunnel vision. So if you don't have procedures, and what I mean by procedures is if you don't have written down how you stay out of tunnel vision, you need to write it down. You need to have a plan on how you stay out of tunnel vision. So there should be a particular process that you follow to stay out of tunnel vision. Because tunnel vision is, what is tunnel vision? Tunnel vision is you get into a trade and you're so focused on the micro movements of that trade, and you're kind of emotional, you're at an emotional imbalance, and you're not objectively looking at that trade, whether or not you should stay in, whether or not you should scale in, whether or not you should get out, where you should maybe, what you should do in that trade. You just get really locked in and focused. So that's one of the biggest challenges that traders have, is tunnel vision. That's one of the reasons why we use the 4-chart setup. So one thing I would suggest that you do is, and write this down. Like, look, you're not like, what are you smarter than a pilot? Let me ask you that. That's not probably the right way to explain it. Okay, let me explain it this way. Your trading is just as important as the responsibility that a pilot has. Let me explain it this way. A pilot has tremendous responsibility for the souls on board of that plane. You have just as much of a responsibility for your own capital. Because if you lose your own capital, you can't trade and you can't realize your dreams. So I would say, obviously it's not on equal level, of course. You've got lives at risk. But as far as trading and your trading survivability, protecting your capital is number one. So if you ever get on a plane and the pilot is not following a pre-flight checklist, you probably never see this because they've already done it by the time you're boarding. A pilot just doesn't memorize their pre-flight checklist. They have an actual iPad that they use now. They used to be paper, but they go through and they open their iPad and they basically check off every step along the way. So I would treat trading as just as an important job as that. So for instance, and let's just take it to an emergency level. When a pilot hits an emergency in the air, they have a series of things, procedures that they've been taught in simulators to go through so that they focus on the problem. They focus on the issue, they address it, and they survive. Recently, you might have saw in the news, there was some birds hit a plane. I think that plane landed safely. That's because once the fire started, I'm sure the co-pilot and the pilot, they followed their emergency procedures so they could focus. They didn't panic. They focused on their emergency procedures, and they landed the plane safely, I believe. Same with you. If you get tunnel vision consistently, create a tunnel vision and emergency procedure about how you go about looking at charts. So it could be, if you use our 4-chart setup, basically what you do is you go about chart by chart by chart. And if you have a little sheet of paper and you just mark it down what you see, and it should be, okay, am I in the right direction of this trade? What do the indicators tell me? What does this chart tell me? What's the story of this chart? Does chart 2 argue with chart 1? Does chart 1 argue with chart 3? Does chart 3 argue with chart 4? Or whatever system you trade, you should have a get out of tunnel vision, because that's an emergency. When you're in tunnel vision, you're in an emergency. You need to get out of tunnel vision and follow a procedure. So that's what I'd leave you with here as we kind of end the morning session here, is that if you don't have a written procedure for getting out of tunnel vision, you should have a written procedure. And don't think you're too good to just not have a written procedure. And don't think that that's copping out. That's actually the best way to form a habit, is write it down. Because what do you have to do when you write it down? You have to think about it. You have to plan. You have to analyze. If you don't have it written down, you're just, I guess if you want to be a cowboy trader, go ahead, be a cowboy trader. But if you want to be a trader that has consistent profits and is consistently squashing their negative habits, you're going to have to operate a little bit differently and probably outside of your comfort zone. It took me a while to do this too, because I'm the same way. I can self-correct. But, what I've also learned is that the more that I have written procedures, the better trading I do. The more that I actually follow my trade system, the better I do. You see, we're getting an opportunity here to get out of GC if we wanted to get out. We can see here that trade is going in the direction we want it to go. We are targeting still that 1956 area, so we'll see how that rolls out. I will be back in the afternoon. I do see some people sent me a DM, wants to join Bravo, so we'll get you set up joining the Bravo. The other thing you could, when I'm on stream, you can also message or in the non-general or general, and then Nephew Elite will add you to the Bravo side and then kind of get you set up. So that's one thing you can do as well when I'm streaming, because usually when I'm streaming, I'm not as focused on the conversations and stuff like that. So I plan to be back here around 1300 CST. So the last 2 hours of the market. And then if you haven't joined Discord, you want to join Discord down below, because I will be, if I'm trading, I'm entering trades during the lunch session while I'm doing other things. I'll be sharing those levels in those various trade areas. Right now, P&L wise, we're right around 3,006. And then we're just down $80 in the GC trade. But we're going to give that a little bit of room. One thing I might, if it does close above the weekly open, I might just exit that trade completely at a loss, because I gave it plenty of opportunity to lose the weekly open. Now that it's lost the weekly open, it really should not capture it again. So if it captures it again, I probably will. Actually, let's just do this. I'll just make this real simple. You'll see me do this, and then we'll just keep it there. So this is the answer for that trade right now. The weekly open is up here. We do have so it should be right around 1992 spot 5. So I should get out of all these. These are no longer valid. And then right here is where I will put a fixed stop loss for 7 lots. Right here, 1995 spot 3. So I've got a not that high. I don't know why it's that high. What the hell? There's my fixed stop loss. So the trade's either going to work out or not. So I might get out sooner, obviously, because I'm managing my trades. But that's where I would put my stop right now, because we should not see a close above the weekly open for this trade to work out. It should just move from here. So that's the trade as it sits. We have an NG trade that possibly is on deck. The CL trade's in the middle of a range. We're in the GC trade, and then NQ looks like it wants to continue to another high up higher. We'll be looking to sell that zone once we get confirmation. All right, I look forward to seeing everybody. If you are ready to join the trade system, you want to become an alpha, DM me and say, how do I get started? Just ask a few questions. And then you could be up and running as soon as today and become an alpha and have the best trade system on the planet. See you in a few hours. Oh.